welcome to the first episode of a slightly new thing, Mono Rants Recommends, a podcast where we rant about TV shows you may not have seen at house parties or anywhere else. I'm one of your hosts and jack of all trades, Mono, and more concerned with her crow and her cats than her kids is my co-host and master of none, Kira.
Oh, parenting standards I aspire to.
Well, you aspire to no
children,
no parenting whatsoever.
I'm already winning at that.
But we have drafted in some help today for all the various ceremonies, and complaining violently about the rites and rituals, it's Tadhg.
Hello.
Just Tadhg, that's it. No podcast, nothing to promote.
Nope, nothing else.
Just Tadhg.
That's me.
Just our good old friend Tadhg.
Who has been mentioned before, and by having the taggiest Tadhg question to ever Tadhg.
Anybody who has listened to our Derek Robertson interview will recognise Tadhg from the best question on the interview, you bastard. Mm-hmm. And you've gotten a couple of shout outs in previous episodes for things like, I think, Brotherhood of the Wolf. You were the person who introduced me to that. Mm-hmm. And probably a load of films that we have or covered or will continue to cover you have recommended for me. So about time that we got you on. So thank you for joining us.
Very welcome.
And in line with what I just said, the thing that we are covering today, you had seen it before, Kira.
I actually watched it when it aired and then thought it was some sort of weird fever dream, like a lot of the things I watched as a child.
Until probably talking to Tadhg.
No, Tadhg had the book. And I was like, Gormenghast? I recognise that. Wasn't it a TV show? Somebody else remembers this. Thank you, because again, before IMDb, I really did think I was crazy because other people hadn't seen this stuff.
In fact, that's probably how I saw it. You probably saw the book and went, "What the fuck is that?" And then
Tadhg
was like,
"Oh,
I have the show on DVD too. Here, go and watch it." And that's how I saw it.
Yeah, not crazy. Yay!
What about yourself? When did you?
Yeah, I kind of got into it. I think on BBC first when it first aired. Saw it kind of live at the time, but I really enjoyed it. It was the series is really great. So. It inspired me to go look a bit further into it, and then afterwards try to get into the book. But someone ruined that book on me by dousing it in water.
I'm guessing that person is exactly who I'm thinking it is.
Could have been, yeah.
Is it Cormac? Was it your good for nothing brother?
Possibly. Not entirely sure on that, but
we'll blame him
anyway. Exactly. That's what we normally do.
Because there's 4 books altogether.
Yeah, there's
Gormenghast, Tadhg Grown.
It's Tadhg Grown first, isn't it? Then Gormenghast, then Tadhg Alone, and then I can't remember what the 4th book is called.
Tadhg Does Roam? I don't know.
The 4th book only got discovered recently.
Yeah, I think it was his wife, wasn't it, that finished up.
Oh, yeah. There's some sort of novella or something like that that's considered dubiously canon.
Yeah, that's it exactly. As far as she finished it after his death. Yeah.
She finished it off, yeah.
That's it. Still haven't got around to reading that though, so shame on me.
But the show itself only covers the first 2 books, which is probably for the best because I was having a flick through Wikipedia and the 3rd book he goes off and discovers some fantastical futuristic society and hangs out with some dude who owns a zoo and drives a shark car, and I was like, that is not anything like what happens in this TV show.
You had me at shark car to be honest.
Oh, I want to read it. Don't get me wrong, but in terms of because the tone of the show itself is such a really, really specific thing, and we'll get onto it obviously. But to add something like that into it would just be so fucking bizarre.
Yeah, well, it would kind of work with the tone of it as well in a way.
I can see why, and I'm massively fascinated with the larger world, so I'd say I will probably go on and try and read the books because the castle itself is such this isolated thing, and they really get that sense across in the show you can't help but be curious at
it's
what
also
possibly
a really
else is out there.
bizarre hodgepodge of styles and fashion and architecture and art and technology.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah,
all existing in the one environment with no rhyme or reason as to why they're there or not there.
Yeah, no, that's one of the aspects that I really, really like about it. And despite trying to do something new today, there's still got to be a summary.
Oh yeah, where's the summary?
I mean, I tried to make it as brief as possible because there's a lot that goes on in this show. Gormenghast has stood for time immemorial, and the Earl of Groan and the castle's innumerable traditions and customs are its lifeblood. But when a new young earl is born, Steerpike, an ambitious and manipulative kitchen boy, takes advantage of the occasion to begin his plan to ascend from kitchen servant to master of Gormenghast.
Oh, classic social climbing.
Oh yeah. And proper manipulation.
Oh yes.
Steerpike is, of course, one of our own.
Jonathan Rhys-Meyers.
Yeah, and I don't want to say the best thing about it, but he's fucking brilliant.
Oh, he's fantastic in this. Like, I think he hasn't done anything better since, really. Or maybe I'm wrong on that, but that's my impression.
He does. He captures the sneering part of it so well in the first kind of episode.
For sure.
And you see the growth of him in the first episode or two, where he's trying to kind of manipulate people, but pushing it too far and getting slapped back down, and he kind of hones his art as it's only a 4-episode series, but it's 4-hour-long episodes, and you can see him honing it as he goes along. Like,
yeah, he learns very quickly that moving too fast draws suspicion to himself. When he goes to Prune Squalor and he's already making his way up, and Prune Squalor comments that he climbs faster than a Virginia Creeper.
Yeah, well, I think the first time you really see it is when Flay takes him, Flay being
Christopher Lee,
takes him up to see the groans. And he immediately tries to take advantage of the situation, and he's seen something and is like, oh, I'll tell everybody what I've seen. And Flay's like, oh, will you now? How about I just fuck you in a prison cell, you idiot?
Definitely overreaching there. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, just getting out of the kitchens and away from Swelter, who's played by Richard Griffiths, and it just looks like the most vile human you've ever come into contact with. Like, he's just, there's something really, really repugnant about him. And that boar tooth fang he has that adds to the weird lisp. It just makes my skin
He is
crawl.
so horribly creepy in it, and there's nothing beyond like just his use of language and the way he refers to all his little boys and his little fairies, and he keeps referring to himself as
dear darling delight, like a
he keeps
lord
talking
of
about
flatulence.
That's the weird thing.
I do like the fact that he managed to like fart himself into like a stupor in his rage.
That's one of my first non-character notes I have down is, did Swelter just go into a fart coma?
Yeah, basically, he got so mad.
Yeah,
because it's the only thing that I can figure out what happens. He
literally gave himself a fit of the vapors.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I do actually, I like that he's one of the first characters that you see, because the first scene is the birth of the new Earl.
Yes.
And it's the
Gertrude.
Wonderful
Gertrude,
thank you. I keep
played by
forgetting
Celia Emery,
giving birth.
Who couldn't give an absolute toss what's going on. She
wants to know one thing and one thing only: the sex of the baby.
Do I have to do this again? No. Fabulous. Grand. Fuck off.
And
where's my bird?
I think my favourite character of it all in Dr. Prune Squalor, played by the excellent John Sessions, just dancing around the subject like he does for the entirety of
it is
of
a sex. It's probably one of my favourite lines that he says.
But just with that little scene of, it's the height of the castle. You've got the lady giving birth to the new Earl and the attending doctor, and you get a little bit of her aloofness, and then it's everybody shouting, it's a boy, it's a boy, it's a boy, all the way down to the kitchen until we get introduced to Swelter and his horribleness. So I just like that in the first couple of minutes you have this right from the start, all at the top all the way down to the very bottom of the castle, because even amongst the servants, the kitchens seem to be, well, after the carvers, anybody who's like inside the walls, the kitchens seem to be the lowest of the low.
Yeah, I'd say it's all very strategic, and you don't move up and down. You're supposed to stay where you are.
That certainly seems to be it, because anybody who the other characters as we go on in positions of service, like Nanny Slag or Barkentine, always refer to Steerpike as a kitchen boy and say he'll always be a kitchen boy.
And the poet seems to exist in his own kind of structure. Poor old Sean Hughes.
The poet's great. Well, they've got all these excellent side little characters.
That poor poet.
But it kind of just builds out the world brilliantly, just having those like you said, those kind of small side characters, but you can tell there's more to them.
Yeah, and the world building of this, I think, is some of the... you said just before we started recording that all the acting is phenomenal, but I think second only to that, or on par with it, is the world building in the show.
Yeah, because it's so grand. And these personalities are so eccentric. They're all fully rounded, and they're all quite mad. Quite mad, especially like the higher up they get, the madder they seem to get, culminating in the Earl, who is a lunatic, for lack of a better word. And then like the common sense just seems to leave them, and then the lower downs know what's going on, and they know that, you know, it doesn't really matter what they're doing. It doesn't affect the day-to-day running of the castle, which is why Barkentine essentially is in charge of the whole shebang. Like, he tells the Earl what to do. He tells them where they're supposed to be going. He is the master of the castle, in a sense, over the Earl. The Earl might have the power, but Barkentine is master of ceremonies.
Yeah.
But it's Gormenghast. That's the thing. It's all for Gormenghast itself. It's not for. No one's kind of apart from the handful of characters. No one wants to see beyond Gormenghast itself.
No, and I love that about the show, that it's the castle that runs on ceremonies, and everybody there exists to serve the ceremonies that serve the castle, and the castle serves the people, and it's just this self-perpetuating cycle that doesn't really serve any purpose other than continuing.
Yeah, but at the same time, the carvers get their day, the cooks get their day. Every section of the castle has a ceremony to celebrate them, so they're all seen. So it's all like, oh, well, Gormenghast has celebrated you, so now you celebrate Gormenghast by continuing on these traditions. It's really interesting.
Yeah,
this weird fucking like isolationist world that exists.
I kind of see it as
within itself,
almost like a necessity thing, whereby it certainly seems to be an incredibly isolated castle and area, and as the show goes on, you do find out that there's not supposed to be much outside of the castle and Gormenghast itself, that it's such this massively expansive castle, and they need to be self-sufficient, that you need to have all these rituals and ceremonies in place to make sure the castle continues to run, because they need a well-oiled machine. And now it's gone on for so long that it's almost become like Leviticus in the Bible, that these laws are laws just because they are.
It's tradition.
And everybody's forgotten what the actual purposes of these things are.
Yeah, that brings up a point. Something I noticed on the rewatch, which I kind of only partially noticed before, is the dust. The sheer amount of dust.
And not just on Mollocks.
Yeah, not just on 4 Mollocks.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, it's this big cavernous, like the main parts of the castle and these towering walls, and everything's these grand expanses, but it's all crumbling and forgotten about, and like the great maps that you see later on. And it's like all up this area. We don't know where it goes up there because nobody's been up there and it's forgotten about. There's it takes something like 5 hours to cross the castle.
Something like that, yeah.
It's huge. And then there's like immeasurable floors and hidey holes and nooks. It's just this insane place.
But even when like Steerpike gets his cane sword, he just picks it up off like a statue on the wall and makes a point of saying to I think Nanny Slag, who he comes across, he's like, it's just sitting there going to waste. Better I have it than it rusts, surely. And yeah, everything is got a good coating of dust, but then you have these other kind of slightly newer areas, like the Doctor's house is all very, I don't want to say modern, but like Victorian.
It's more Edwardian.
It sits in amongst the
big blocks, and it's just this kind of almost like the house in Up that's gotten everything's built up around it, or Stuart Little actually is the little tiny house with the skyscrapers on either side, and it's this very neat little house with electricity and light switches and things like that of that nature.
But nobody ever seems to use electricity. But and then he seems to be this man of science, and he's using pharmaceuticals, but then he also has touches of like kind of
quackery,
old world.
Oh, when the professor has the heart attack, so he takes all his clothes off him.
Yeah, hits for a particular part with the silver hammer, and that fixes him.
That's a beautiful scene.
The professors are fantastic.
I adore Irma Prunesqualler. She's my favourite character in the whole thing. I love her. I love the fact that she is just so positive, and all she wants is a man. She's the most hopeful, the hopefulest spinster. Yes, she just wants a man, and she just doesn't know how to go about getting one. She's the two of them in particular are brilliant, but I think my favourite scene between them is when she decides that she wants to host a party. Oh, she's got the knife. And yeah, it's just the language the two of them use as well is very like it's proper like high society erudite kind of. Yeah, they dance around the subject an awful lot without actually, like, I wouldn't think you were one to host a party or even attend one. And she brandishes the knife on him. But I love it fits particularly with Dr. Prunesqualler, because
he's a man he's the family's, or the not royal family, but like
he's the physician of the castle.
Yeah, he's the physician of the castle, and probably has to give bad news sometimes and has to make judgment calls sometimes, and wouldn't necessarily want to get caught out for making the wrong decision, so always uses this flowery language and never says something that can be taken exactly 100% concrete as that way, so that if he gets it wrong he can be like, oh no, but you misunderstood.
Yeah, I get to keep my head this time.
Exactly.
That's why I love the interplay between him and the Countess. Like, it's just between the two of them, it's just so brilliant. Like,
oh, she's got some great lines towards him. Like, Squalor, why do you say so many words when one will do?
Oh, no. We'll have words. You damned my bird. The library is burning down around her, and she stops to threaten him while she's making her exit.
Yeah. We shall have words, Squire. You damned my bird.
Yeah.
Don't think I won't forget it.
And you dare lay hands on my cat?
But,
her room full of Persian cats.
Yeah, but
again,
I was going to say, yet she's probably the most observant character in the whole thing. Like, she seems to actually know and has accepted,
Well, she's an outsider.
Yeah, she's the only one who's an outsider because she's married in, and it's, for her, it's a job. Like I think she's probably the only one other than Barkentine, maybe even more so than Barkentine, who understands the need for all of the duties and the various things that have to happen in the castle. And when she's got this kind of idiotic royal family around her, she has to make sure they do their jobs. Like,
I do enjoy
across.
The first thing she says to I've forgotten your one.
Nanny Slag?
No, the daughter.
Fuchsia,
yeah.
Where have you been for the last 15 years? It's so obviously she gave birth, went, oh, it's a girl, here you go, Nanny Slag, take it away.
Yeah, well, she says,
I've no use of her. Nanny Slag, by the way, June Brown, Dot Cotton from EastEnders, is
she's amazing. She's amazing.
She is.
Oh, her poor weak heart.
Yeah.
And that hat, by the way, whoever designed that hat that she wears, that bends the opposite direction to her.
Yeah.
So she's this long, thin shadow of a woman.
But you again, she plays it so well, because when she's like getting upset with the wet nurse for like getting above her station and stuff, she's getting so wound up and like really like emotionally upset, because her job is to serve, and her job has always been to serve, and she's probably like, she's old enough that maybe she was even nanny for the...
Oh, she's
the
always
Earl.
been nanny.
No, but she's old enough that she might even have been nanny to the Earl when he was born, kind of thing.
Well, you see that when she's told to go down and get the wet nurse, because no royal in their right mind would do something, as low as feed their child.
Certainly not Gertrude.
No.
As she says, bring him back to me when he's 6.
That's after they drop him on his head when he's getting, like, anointed. Come on the first bounce, like rubber. When Nanny Slag goes off to get the wet nurse from the village, and she makes the announcement, she's like, a new grown has been born, and she's not there to talk about the ritual, but she's like, I'm in charge as per usual with the new child, and she's so proud of herself for that. I love it. And then the rest of the time she's spent dealing with Fuchsia, who's horribly spoiled because she's only good for marrying off, and who are they going to marry her off to? She's,
I think, one of the best actresses, not the best actresses in this, but she's got such an awkward role to play, and she does it so well, because she has to play this like emotionally stunted
she's supposed
teenager.
To be about 15.
Yeah.
So about this takes place, she'd be like, the show takes place over about what,
17 years?
So by the end of this all, she's in her 30s and still wandering around.
Yeah,
she's really got a really bad case of arrested development because she's completely spoiled.
Yeah.
And the news of having a new brother, her response is, nobody asked me.
Yep.
But, oh, we got you a present. Oh, I don't want it. What is it? And then she's delighted when everyone's saying the child is ugly. She's like, brilliant, good, he's ugly, I love him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's really, really spoiled, and she's never come past being, like, nobody apart from Nanny apparently pays her any mind.
Yeah.
Or any attention. And so she's not really good for anything except having children. She doesn't need an education or to know anything about that. She just has to be
even then it seems, so long as there's a male heir, the female children don't particularly matter.
No.
And you see that with Clarice and Cora.
Oh, the twins.
Well. The twins who just want their power back.
Because they're the sisters of the Earl, but they've been left to the side.
Yeah, once he
And again,
got
they
power,
also haven't been seen in about 15 years since Petunia's birth.
I assume it was Fuchsia's birth.
Or Fuchsia's birth. Why Petunia?
And I always, when I watch that, I always, sorry, when I rewatch this, I always kind of look at Clarisse and Cora as the potential future for Fuchsia.
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of say they're as stunted as her in a different way, like.
And they're brilliant.
They're
Funny.
Their timing is amazing as well. Just like.
Oh, the two, Zoe Wanamaker and Lindsay. Is it Lindsay
Brooks?
I'm terrible with names, but the two of them are fantastic, and yeah, their timing of the movements and everything, the alternating between the speech and then saying some of the sentences together, it's just so
the
good.
Conversation they have with Steerpike when he escorts them back and he's talking to them about their power, and they're having the discussion amongst themselves.
Oh, about whether or not they had thrones.
And one stops to look and the other one looks straight up.
Yeah.
And there's something about that movement in particular while she's having a think about it's Cora. And she goes, we didn't have thrones. And one looks straight at Steerpike. And the other
yeah, staring up, considering. And then when she looks back down, she goes, we did have thrones.
But everything, the poor twins are just forgotten about, shambling around. Like, nobody even notices them, to be perfectly honest.
Well, because, yeah, without... how do I say this without going spoilery? But yeah, there is...
This is a castle where people lose themselves in Gormenghast and just disappear, and because the place is so massive.
And I suppose when Gertrude says, where have you been for the last 15 years? Their response is, the East Wing.
Yeah, we've been over in the East Wing.
That's it, for 15 years and nobody...
And you do find out at one point that the East Wing is roughly a mile from the library. So that, yeah, you could feasibly live out your life within the walls and never come across somebody else.
I think of the royal family, then the only one that we haven't really talked about is the Earl. Well, young Titus and the Earl himself.
Baby Titus.
What's the Earl called? Sepulcrave?
Yeah,
he's mostly just called Your Lordship, but I think in the credits I was like, Sepulcrave.
No, it's when they're naming Titus over the book when poor old Nanny Slag just doesn't know what's going on. That whole scene. I think they call him Sepulcrave, and then they drop him on his head, and you discover the poor man who has to carry the book around, the Book of Ritual.
Oh, I think he's just credited as bookman.
Yeah, he's the bookman, and that poor bastard just follows Barkentine around, lumping this massive book of tradition on his back, and then having a baby placed on it.
Yeah.
And again, so just to go back to some of the world building, the book itself is just this huge giant tome that presumably only has more things added to it, because as certain things happen, they then become tradition, because that's one of Barkentine's things.
Oh, he's very annoyed about the breakfast for the birth of the child because it's never happened before and he doesn't know how to prepare for it, and he has to make up a ritual to go with it.
And once he's made the ritual, now it has to be a ritual.
And it has to be in the book.
He's so frustrated, though, the entire time. If anyone could benefit from not being in that system.
Poor old Barkentine. No, everything will be fine as long as nobody fucks with it.
Yeah, no, and Barkentine, I can't remember the actor's name. But Barkentine is just this eternally frustrated, put upon concept.
Very loud.
He is very loud, but he's the only one who's able to kind of talk to the ruling family. Warren Mitchell, thank you. He's the only one who's able to talk to the ruling family with any sort of like anger or what's the word I'm looking for, like forcefulness. Like they're the only people he'll listen to as well. Like
yeah, pretty much. I wonder, is that as well because like he's obviously older than most of the other individuals there, apart from Flay and the Earl himself. So they're just used to him being around and cursing everyone out of it, and just that's it. Like it's just part of it's part of Gormenghast. He's part of the furniture.
One of the things I really like to do with him was less to do with Barkentine, but Steerpike, as part of his rise to power, ends up working with the secretary, and one of the parts where he kind of gains a bit of power, the first thing you see him do is he says, like, modernizes the secretary's office. It was something that you really...
Oh, it's really, really stark. It goes from being this kind of candlelit, old style, like tumbling down library with scrolls and things around the place to very sterile, almost like early 1920s, like sci-fi.
It's one of
that kind of look about it. Like there's adding machines and everything's metal
as well.
Yeah,
like
and it's
actual... all
very clean, and there's electric lighting, and it looks like something from like a proper sci-fi film.
And it's at a point in Steerpike's journey where he has started to gain a fair bit of power, and it's like you just see the second that like this is his influence suddenly coming through starkly, and it's such a stark change, even just in Barkendine's office, that you're like, oh, modernity, something is creeping into the castle and changing.
That's when I noticed actually that the guards very much the soldier uniforms or the castle guard uniforms are very Prussian.
Yes.
Yeah, because even
surplus of pointy hats going on.
The whole Gormenghast is no time or place thing really comes across through the costuming, because your guard is this kind of Prussian World War I-esque uniform. All the royalty are in very much kind of Tudor-y.
Yeah, the women they're all in very much kind of very modest gowns. It's heavy brocade fabrics. There's a lot of slash sleeves going on, but the men seem to be almost, again, Prussian nobility, roughly like the Tsars, especially young Titus. A lot of his hats are that, and the Earl's kind of ceremonial cape. Yeah, that also is very conveniently L wings. But that's very orthodox.
Barkentine and all his guys are very kind of Renaissance-y costume.
Especially the poet. The poet is full on like Blackadder the Third. Yeah. Like he thinks he's William Shakespeare.
Oh, he is a proper bard. But yeah, it's just that, and then combined with the mix of architecture where you have, like I said, Prune Squatter's house is very kind of Edwardian or Georgian. Parts of the castle are very medieval. Other parts of the castle are...
the gardens are fucking French pastoral. With the big slope flowing banks down to the man-made lake. Because it's man-made. It's literally waist deep. You don't need to take all your gear off to jump in it. Also the guys in the diving helmets.
Yeah, and then there's guys in diving helmets as well.
Yeah. That does kind of... It immediately... Even amongst the scene, you're like, this is somewhat out of place. Like.
But in terms of then some of the non-royal characters... The professors are just...
Oh, the many-headed professors?
Who's who of like English comedy at the time as well. Stephen Fry, Martin Clunes, your man Pemberton from Leave It Gentleman. I can't remember the guy's name, but he's Mr. Teasy Weezy in Churchill. The Hollywood
He was also in Gimme Gimme Gimme.
Spike Milligan as the headmaster.
Yeah, which is... Because I do feel there is a somewhat Python-esque vibe to the whole thing as well. There's a little hint of it, and then having Spike Milligan there is just like, which is obviously, he helped inspire Goon Show, exactly. He helped inspire,
and Eric Sykes as well, because Eric Sykes wrote for the Goon Show and was one of the goons. So you had two of these like leading heads of comedy, always have been, and are still, like now many years after their death, very highly respected within the community. Yeah, just showing up and having these wonderful gem roles.
And then alongside all these fantastic, like, proper theatre actors and stuff, like Christopher Lee and Celia Amory and the guy, is it Ian Richardson?
Ian Richardson, who played the Earl.
Playing the Earl. All just fantastically trained actors to bring some serious gravitas to it. But the professors are just so much fun. They're constantly insulting each other's intelligence when they all seem to be idiots. The whole thing about when they get invited to the party and they're...
Oh, Long Neck Dermot wants a husband. Yeah, they haven't seen a woman in 37 years.
Exactly. It's that they're not quite incels, but they're they're somewhere on a spectrum between like functioning humans and that, like.
But the caliber of the cast in this show is really something to behold, because there's so many, and I mean we've talked.
I think there's 38 main cast members.
Yeah, and I mean the professors, about 8 or 9 professors.
The professors
royal family is kind
fabulous, though.
4 or 5 people. Then there's about another 6 or 7 cast who are servants or supporting the royal family as well. We've barely said anything about poor Christopher Lee as Flay, but it is. And the first time I watched it, I was like, how did they get all of these people?
It was the BBC.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was a co-production with like a PBS studio as well, I think, or something, or maybe not. Maybe it was either American or Canadian co-production. So there was a lot of money thrown at it as well at the time.
The same thing as what happened with Rome a few years later. It was BBC quality with HBO money, and you make a fantastic show.
Yeah, and a brilliant year for Christopher Lee as well, because this was around the same. He went from doing this into doing Lord of the Rings.
Oh, he probably would have, yeah.
Because this came out in 2000, so they wrapped... This was 5 years production.
Oh, so yeah, he probably would have rapped on this and gone straight into Saruman.
Yeah, well, at least he already had a head start on the beard and the long hair.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
He just rocked up on day one in New Zealand and was like, just dye this beard a bit.
Yeah. I'm good to go. I've already provided.
Are you sure I can't be Gandalf?
And like with Tolkien, he knew Mervyn Peake.
Yes, although he wasn't as close with
him
Peake as he was with Tolkien, I believe.
But he did know him. I believe one of his wife was very good friends with Mervyn Peake's wife.
And just speaking of the quality of the show itself, that'd be one of the only things that I don't like about it is I could have done with a little bit more of it. Not a huge amount, like maybe just another episode or two.
It could have done with the BBC 6-episode sweet spot.
Yeah.
Because it does, my one complaint is that this does wrap up very quickly.
Particularly, the pacing in the first 3 episodes then compared to the fourth, so much seems to happen in the fourth. And the fourth is the only episode where we get a full-grown Titus, because in the first 2 episodes he's a baby, and in episode 3 he's about, 10? 11?
Yeah, something like that. He's just constantly in trouble in school and whatever.
He's riding a horse through. He's like, I'm allowed to ride my horse on a Monday between 7 and 9. Nobody told me I couldn't do it inside. You just want to give him a little smack.
In the 3rd episode, you just get the hints of young Titus not wanting to be kind of tied down to all this duty and responsibility that comes with Gormenghast. And then all of that really seems kind of rushed in the 4th episode, so I wouldn't have minded maybe a 5th or a 6th, or even just a 5th, just to get a little bit more of kind of adult Titus and him coming into himself. Other than that, my only complaint, and this one is major, is that fucking theme tune.
You do not go in for a castrato, do you?
Oh, that fucking eunuch singing. I can't. Thank fuck the closing credits is just music, because I had to, I sat through it the first time when we sat down to watch it, and then we'd normally watch everything twice, so that's 8 times that song was supposed to be listened to. I only got it once, and after that it was fast forward. Oh, it's rough. It is hard to listen to.
Yeah. But it's kind of the time as well. I mean, you still had echoes of 2000. So you still had echoes of what's your man's name? The Christmas song, the Snowman.
Oh,
Anna Jones.
Anna Jones.
It's all gone wrong for me. Oh, Walking in the Air. Yeah, the Snowman. But the Snowman was the 80s.
But it was still now you say snowman to a lot of people, they're like, what? But back then, like I said, there would still be a cultural memory of it, so I think it kind of made sense in that way. Well,
and I suppose in the sense of for the lyrics of the song are all about sticking to tradition and it being
I think
a
it's
good
supposed
thing.
to be the motto of the land,
the
hold fast, Gormenghast, and that tends to be the sort of thing that a falsetto. But is given. Go sing that in the middle of the church. It sounds fancy.
Also, having that fragile young voice sing it, I suppose, does put you in mind of this is a castle that is kind of slightly falling apart and just barely holding together both the people and the building itself. And you have this little frail voice singing this song about holding fast. It kind of fits. It's just hard to listen to.
Step too far.
How about yourself? Anything you didn't like?
No, I was just there's clearly birds, because Gertrude has a freaking white crow, the bitch.
Yes. Oh yeah, the white crow is just fantastic.
The only white crow.
Master Chalk.
Master Chalk, who's rather lovely, and then all of her cats. There doesn't appear to be any dogs, but there's giant fucking owls that will eat you.
Yeah, the death
owls.
Did you get as far as the death owls in the book? Can you shed any light on the death owls?
No. I don't remember anyway. That might have been where I cut off, but no.
Death owls. I finished here.
Yeah, and there was no mention of kind of bad 2000s CG of. Yeah.
Actually, yeah, you do. You kind of touch on something there. Some of the kind of special effects. The blending of the matte painting backgrounds with the sets
was a lot to do with the fact that they filmed all of those miniatures in tanks of water.
The miniatures, yes.
So when they were superposing on top of that, because of all the substance that they put in the water to make it this milky hazy, they found it really difficult when they were cropping stuff in front of that, because it fucked with textures and stuff. Even though it gives the castle and all the backgrounds this you get the sense of them receding into the distance. It works for that, but it is a lot more
It's less the
jarring.
wider shots. It's more like when
Steerpike's
on the roof and it's just the paintings in the background. I just find they stand out a little bit.
I will say something as regards that I actually appreciated that, because it put me in mind of, like, you know, Sinbad and like the what's the name of the Ray Harryhausen kind of films and that, you know. It kind of, even though it wasn't done on purpose, it kind of felt like a shout back to that. And it wasn't.
It does evoke that kind of sense, yeah.
Yeah. And it wasn't because there's kind of a blue shimmer. It wasn't your typical outline that you see on blue or green screening back then. So yeah, for me, I don't know. It's something I actually appreciated about it, even though it does look out of place in it.
Oh yeah, and it's nothing like major. It's not like they have a big bad CGI monster running around every episode or anything like that. It's just a few small things here and there, because most of it is.
Most of it didn't bother me because it made Steerpike feel like he was grounded in this world that seems to exist in a dreamlike quality.
True.
Because he's always the one that you see on the roofs. Because he quickly learns that the best way around the place is to learn all the nooks and crannies and learn how he can spy on everybody. And the way he does that later on in it, even as he's gaining all this power, he's not ceasing control of all these little spy techniques.
Yeah.
So you get the feeling that he's the only one running around this like empty fucking city, essentially. So having him be more in focus in all of this haziness adds to that. Also the fact that he tends to be dressed quite harshly, a lot of black, it's all very close fitting, everyone else is in all their frippery and finery.
His costuming is always very sleek and separate from kind of everybody else's as well. He's one of the only ones in service. Maybe Prune Squalor is a bit, but his is always very kind of, like you say, it's stark stuff, and he has this really obvious embroidery. Like I like the when he gets the big owl embroidered.
Oh, it's on the back.
Embroidery, yeah.
But even the Swelter's buttons are the owl symbol on his chef's jacket. Yeah, it's a reoccurring motif throughout it. But when Irma goes, oh, we'll put him in grey.
Irma that's I've forgotten names again. Help me out. Fiona Shaw?
Fiona Shaw.
Yes, who we saw a couple of weeks ago in Super Mario Bros. Slightly different role this time around.
Yes.
But, she's fucking brilliant.
Long-necked Irma.
Her face must have killed after the end of every day of shooting.
Yeah,
because
I was going to say,
like girding so much and making all the
she's very proud of her neck and how she doesn't like fling herself over backwards in her efforts to show off her décolletage. Like she actually does throw herself over at one point when Steerpike's after coming in and he's no shirt on and she's like, wait, oh my.
When she's taking the glasses off and walks into the pillar. But actually the balance of comedy and proper drama in this it can be a hard line to tread, and they do it so well, I think.
Yeah, it's a, like you say, it's kind of a very fine line, and they just thread it the entire way. Like it works so well.
Because it can even be inside of individual scenes, like when Steerpike is dealing with the two sisters and he's talking about like getting them the thrones and stuff, and there'll be really funny lines, and then he himself will just switch to really threatening towards them. Yeah,
you have the kind of comedic banter with them as well, and it can immediately go almost psychotic, sinister, like at the drop of a hat. Like
it's something that I appreciate, especially after watching. What did we watch? Like The Predator last night.
Oh god!
And nothing to do with Gormenghast at all, except have you seen that one, the Shane Black one?
I'm trying, like who's the main cast?
I can't remember them. The
Olivia
main guy.
Munn is
in it. Sterling K. Brown is in it.
Jake Busey's in it.
Keegan-Michael Key is in it. I can't remember the main.
I haven't seen that.
Alfie Allen is in it with an Irish accent for some reason. Don't ask me why.
Of it is
breakneck speed
all over the place. Like at times it's a normal Predator film, and then other times they're going for like super Joss Whedon quippy dialogue, and then they have like a couple of characters have like there's a character who's supposed to be on the spectrum, and there's another character who has Tourette's. And majority of them are suffering from PTSD
as well, so they have like coping techniques and stuff like that, and it's just all dealt with horribly.
And yeah, they'll be trying to use the mental illness or the threats that somebody has at one point for trying to get sympathy for the character, and then the next scene they're using it as a joke against the character, and the tone is just fucking all over the place.
Don't watch it.
And having watched this just so shortly beforehand, it really made me appreciate the balance that they get right in this. Because at no point did I have anything like that where I was like, whoa, that was a weird switch. Like I was feeling very emotional and now it's gone all funny, or it was very funny and now it's suddenly gone super dark. It moves back and forth between them so well.
Yeah, but it rings true for the characters. Like it rings true for each of them whenever that happens. I think that's the thing. It doesn't feel it doesn't feel like something that character wouldn't do.
Yeah, I don't think there's any character choices in this where I watched it and go, well, hang on, why are they doing that? There's one actually towards the end where some characters come across another character in a room and they really should just lock him in there and leave instead of confronting them. Other than that, the whole time I was watching that, I was like, lock the door and leave. Lock the door and leave. Why aren't they doing? But it was the only time that I got like that.
Yeah.
Every other time, like you say, it feels like a choice that this character would make. It's something that they should do, like right down to little small things, like how serious Gertrude gets about Prune Squalor threatening the bird or damning the bird, because
her bird and her cat is closely followed by the Earl, because she does stand up for the castle.
But yeah, it's the kids
it's the birds and the cats. You don't touch them.
Yeah, she had no choice. She had to have the kids for the Earl for an heir. But the bird and the cat, she chose to have them, so that's why she's so super protective of them.
Yeah, the Earl has his books, and that they did the deed once 17, or how many times it took 17 years ago.
You got a girl,
and it's taken her this long to, get around to it again, because they're busy doing their own things. Yeah. Like, they really don't have any interest in each other.
Yeah, but even the Earl having his books makes sense, because as we see with Titus when he grows up, he doesn't want all this responsibility, but the Earl is an old man. He's accepted it all. He's lived a life of making this castle run with all the ceremonies, and the only thing that he knows he can't leave because the Earl is necessary for all this, so the only thing he has is his books, so he may as well become a learned man, and that comes across as well. And then when the library isn't available to him, it's obvious why that's such a big thing for him. Like,
yeah, it's kind of his only refuge. His only refuge. Like, yeah, you can kind of, I suppose you can see that, like each of the characters has their own refuge within Gormenghast. That this is how the system in the castle works. But they've found their own place that they can be somewhat happy.
Yeah, because she has her cat room, he has his library, Fuchsia has her kind of hidden room behind her bed
with all of her toys. That these rooms full of broken toys that you get to see the doll's house like 17 years later when it's getting thrown out the window, and she's still upset about it.
And Titus has both nowhere and all of it at once.
Yeah, well, he spends a lot of time locked in that.
I was going to say, he's supposed to get the jail cell.
Yeah. That really did look like it belonged in the cell. Yeah. That one set in particular with that big freaking concrete block that they put them into.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, you're in the wrong movie.
But yeah, and yeah, where everybody else has their place of refuge, Titus is the only one who doesn't, and he's the one who's kind of most upset and most longing for some kind of freedom, and that's where I suppose you get the aspect of the wild girl getting brought in, who's not that much of a thing in the show. I think she's more important in the books, but still serves her purpose in regards to Titus in the show. Like, so there's nothing in there that's like extraneous. There's nothing in there that needs to be kind of cut away where it'd be like, that didn't really need to be in it. As I said earlier, I want more.
Yeah, but I think that's because it feels very complete as a like you say. Okay, yeah, it would be great to have more. Maybe kind of broaden out a bit on like especially the last episode. But at the same time, as like compared to especially a lot of modern series, it just in those 4 episodes, it does tell the story, and there is some resolution for pretty much all the characters. Like there's it does feel solid and complete in that way.
Oh yeah. Like when I my longing for more is not out of a lack of closure or anything.
Exactly.
Like it's so good. There's just and like all the stuff that we've talked about, like the way the castle is laid out and the world of the castle. I could just more of that would be cool, like, because I have
especially when you get the implication that when they sealed the castle, they literally sealed the castle and it became watertight. So that when it floods from the basement up.
Yeah. And they bring that's when they bring all the carvers in as well, don't they?
Yeah, they bring all the carvers in and then they seal the castle and then the floodwaters start to rise, which is, I'm like, the damn castle's fucking watertight.
You've basically made a glass or a cup out of the castle, like.
Yeah, it's like fucking hell.
Because all that flooding stuff leads to some really cool stuff in that episode. Like, it just looks cool because you have all these like flooded halls and stuff, but it turns the castle itself into a completely different thing as well, because it's everybody who knows it so well. Like, everybody who's lived there is supposed to know every inch and nook and cranny because that's all there is. But now it's this different environment for them. It's completely changed,
and they're like in underground rooms, and some can't swim, and access ways are blocked, and
it does. It really heightens the tension in that episode as well. Like, so no, there isn't. There's not much I change. I think I wouldn't have minded a bit more. Maybe not some of that third book stuff that I talked about earlier on.
No, but some of his formative years.
Yeah, I think
to that point, because as well, like with Fuchsia, Fuchsia's just been rattling around in the castle. We know that Irma, there's not exactly that many suitors going on. Irma's got a settle for a professor because they're the only people who are like eligible for her.
Yeah.
What's Fuchsia going to do? There's no other she's a lady. Well, there's nobody else of her statue.
I think they kind of hint that Prune Squalor wants to.
But he's known her since she was a child.
I know.
The implication is that he actually delivered her. Like.
Oh yeah, but who else would be of status to marry her?
There's also a very clear declaration of the fact that Swelter used to abuse the boys in the kitchen. So. Yeah,
that is very kind of overtly clear, and.
Well, he basically says it.
Yeah. And it is. It's just that first scene with Swelter. Any scene that Swelter is in, he's so fucking creepy.
You really get it when
his knife
when
and
he's
stuff.
He's introducing all the different boys to Flay after the naming ceremony.
Oh yeah, I had forgotten about that bit actually. Yeah, that's uncomfortable.
And then Flay punches him with the handful of keys.
Yeah. And even that actually, I was like, why does Flay is the main servant to the Earl? Why does he have this hatred for the chef? And it took me a while. I think it wasn't until the second watch through I twigged it, and I was like, it's because Flay is such a proper devoted servant of the Earl and the castle at large.
They serve the castle, and they're like the old butler families that you used to get in the UK, where the family, you became the new lord, but you inherited all this staff who have always been there, and they don't serve you; they serve the house.
Yeah,
he serves Gormenghast, and part of that is to make sure that the Earl is okay, but he also serves Gormenghast as a whole. Yeah,
whereas Swelter just uses his position of power, to better his own life, so he can get more food, get more booze, get more little kids.
Well, he has his power in his little realm.
Yeah, he has his power in his little realm, and he only does his job insofar as it keeps him in his job. He only feeds the Earl because it allows him to do all this other stuff, whereas Flay is purely a man of service. So I think he sees Swelter as somebody with no honour whatsoever, and that's why he's got this intense hatred for him. And obviously Swelter just reciprocates.
Yeah. Well, actually, speaking of Christopher Lee, of Flay, like I just love the fact that his his dialogue, is reduced to so little, but yet you get the character. Despite that, you get the depth of the character throughout, like without big reams of kind of dialogue, describing what he's about or kind of exposition. It's just like it's there, it's him. It's kind of it's very obvious.
And it has to be in his actions as well. And I suppose there's the element of we got Christopher Lee.
It's a luminous look.
But we got Christopher Lee and we gave him the least dialogue and the most basic dialogue of all the actors.
But he does it so well.
Yeah.
Oh, did he choose? It was that the role he chose?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, Christopher Lee wants to be in it. You let him do whatever the fuck he wants, because he'll make that role
unless it's Gandalf.
Yeah, unless it's Gandalf. But then he has admitted himself that he couldn't have brought
after the fact,
that kind of joviality to the role. Because he is brilliant as Saruman. Like, he's so serious.
But,
and he's such like, he's what, 6'5", 6'6"? He's
a tall man.
He's a tall, very loomy man. Because he is quite slender. And that really works with this as well. Because he looms and he looks. And so much emotion is conveyed through a look with him.
And even down to the little things about his character, like the fact that he sleeps outside the Earl's
Well, that's where
room.
you slept.
Yeah.
That's where your valet slept. You slept outside the door. You feel really bad for him because he's quite old.
Yeah,
And
but
he's
Nanny
literally-
doesn't.
No, but Nanny has the children. Nanny's in the nursery with the children.
But I'd say even before. And
She's like over on the far side of the castle. Like, you can see that she's quite a distance away with the children.
yeah.
Yeah, you don't want them near you. I do like the little hangy basket thing though. The little. Also, I like the fact that she goes off to get a wet nurse and just leaves the child unattended.
Yep.
And also shouting at the guards to let her out.
Yeah, it's too cold to be hanging around. No, Nanny Slag is... well, all the characters are brilliant. They're all brilliant in their own way. Like, even the Swelter's not in it that much. For so little screen time, you get these really, really well fleshed out characters that you feel like they have a whole history. Like, we're talking about, like, we think Nanny Slag might have been around and serving the castle since she was little and possibly even, attended to the Earl in his younger days. She never says any of that. That's just stuff I've imagined for her. Same way that Flay never says anything about why he hates Swelter. I've just imagined that for him. Like, and I like that it's a world that's so well created you can fill in the gaps yourself. Like,
Exactly. Oh, actually, speaking about the world itself, the sets, the physical sets are amazing. They're just
especially when you have the difference that they had across the sets. Like, that couldn't have been an easy task to create that much. I think they took up pretty much the entirety of...
They took up basically the whole studio that the studios they were using. They took up all of their lots because the big throne room, that is also where they hold like the dinner with that wonderful jelly mountain.
Oh, yes.
For the breakfast.
For the breakfast, yes.
And the big Nautilus chocolate shell that gets really sadly smashed.
Yes.
That whole set, because that's also where he comes riding through, because that seems to be through to the family quarters as well.
Yeah.
And then you have all the school rooms, where Nanny, the children's wing, the library, Gertrude's quarters, which are like her wet bedroom and her aviary and her cat room.
Oh, the sideways tree out the side of Clarice and Cora's
place.
They're
just having afternoon tea.
That's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
That's one of the most like striking, I think. Like, and I know I was giving it about the backgrounds earlier, but the backgrounds in that look fantastic. Like,
but it gives an idea of the scale of it. Like, this is such a monumentally huge kind of keep or castle like that. You literally have like pretty much oak trees growing sideways out of the damn thing. Like, it's
or when Gertrude takes Titus out to sea, she takes him out of the castle and down to like the grounds and looks, points him back up at the castle. That shot as well. It just looks like this whole thing. It's like, well, what's castle, what's keep, what's part of the village outside? It's very hard to kind of make any one thing out. It's just this big amorphous castle blob.
Yeah.
But is there anything else that any of us loved about it before we wrap up on Gormenghast? Because I think this is something that, I had never heard about it until you guys introduced me to it, and I think there's a lot of people out there who really would enjoy it and wouldn't have heard of it or seen it. So what would you recommend the most about it? What did you enjoy the most about it?
If you were really, really disappointed with Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Like, this really does, this has all that political intrigue, and like, it's nice because it's just one person. It's a self-contained story that's not continuously adding characters in. And I like the fact that it's not some crazy land that's got like magic and dinosaurs or dragons or anything like that. They're normal people.
Yeah, well, we never talked about...
They're really fundamentally normal at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like, just going about their lives, trying to get on with it. And it's all frightfully boring for quite a lot of them. But they make it exciting. And
that's something we didn't really talk about, actually, is that the whole genre of... it's referred to as the fantasy of manners, more or less started with Mervyn Peake's books, like, and I think that's something that I never would have, if you had told me, oh, it's a show about a castle and just the ins and outs of the people vying for power inside it, I'd have been like, that sounds kind of boring.
It's a show about 3 priests on an island.
Well, yeah, sure, you can make anything sound boring. But it's so well written. The dialogue is so fantastic. Like you said, the sets are so... Every aspect of it is so well constructed that it's hard... I'd say it'd be hard for anybody not to find something to like about it.
Yeah. I think that's it. And like, even though he's... Steer Pike is the... he's an evil bastard. He's such an evil, conniving bastard. But he is the protagonist in a sense, and you do feel some kind of empathy and want to follow him on that journey. And even though it's only 4 episodes, it feels so much longer. Like,
oh, it really does. Yeah,
it feels way more complete than. I don't just mean character arcs, but it just feels more complete than a lot of shows that have come out since. Like,
no, definitely.
Yeah.
I also like the fact that it doesn't go out of its way to over-explain anything to you.
No,
it just
never.
Is. It just is, and this is how it always is, and that's it. Deal with it, because a lot of the time you'd get there's no massive exposition dumps.
Yeah, it's not dumbing anything down for you.
No,
and it doesn't think it's too smart for itself either.
No,
And considering all the flowery language, it could very easily come off as being a bit pretentious, but it never does either.
But that's very quickly cut through by Gertrude being like, "Can you ever just say something simply?" Like it's not trying to make the audience feel stupid. It's that this person is doing it. This is just the way this person is.
Well, not even just Prudence Squalor, the way a lot of them talk.
The headmaster, when he's giving his pros and cons list.
That's a brilliant scene. And Stephen Fry is fantastic as Belgrove.
Oh.
But yeah, when he's delivering his little list into the mirror, that's fucking hilarious. I'd forgotten about that bit.
Number 8. I'm very lonely. It's like the most human thing that anybody in this says, and a lot of this is just they're trying to find Titus at the end of the day is 17. He's been told his whole life that this is what he's going to be, but he's also been educated with other boys who don't have to do this and don't have this responsibility, and like any good 17-year-old is having a bit of a rebellious stage because he's seen a pretty girl outside.
yeah.
And you can't you feel for Titus as well, because he doesn't want this responsibility. And Steerpike, who ultimately at the end of the day is the one that wants the power and sees, and he's like, oh, it's amazing what people waste.
Yeah.
Douglas Adams had it right. The ones that want the power shouldn't have the power.
Yeah.
Because Steerpike wants all the power and has climbed his way to a position where he's almost got it all and he's almost gotten away with it.
Yeah, and you're kind of looking at it going, well...
And you're kind of applauding him for it, because he's managed to climb his way out of the depths, and you see, like, anybody who's come, like, worked their way up from anything, you will always applaud. His manner going about it hasn't been great.
Yeah.
But he's also very resentful of everybody else for not appreciating what it is they have.
Yeah.
Like you were just saying, Tadhg, you do feel for him because he's not
That's it. That's
evil.
I was about to
you know what I mean? So you're in this weird position as a viewer where you're like, the bad guy who we sympathise with almost has power. The good guy who we also sympathise with doesn't want power. So should they kind of... Do we want the bad guy to win so that the good guy can have no power and be free? I like that as well. It's nothing straightforward in that either. Like,
But also, it's the tragedy of it all, because... Steerpike, he does have love for a certain character, and a certain character does have genuine love for him, and it's like they could have had that, and they could have developed that into something, but because of what he was chasing after, and because as well maybe some of the things, the way she saw the world, it's like that never happens, and there's a tragedy there in that, like.
And that we didn't really touch on that relationship either, but I really like the way those two characters play that out as well. There's a lot of nuance and a lot of back and forth there, and it's just really, really well done. But unless there's anything else...
Speaking of their introduction of when Steerpike meets Fuchsia for the first time, when she dances into that room, comes screeching to a halt when she sees him there, and then does this really bizarre broken doll kind of bend over to look at him, and then as she moves around him, have you ever seen when a cat sees something that's not supposed to be there, but the head stays locked on, and the body moves? That's how she moves around him in that scene. It is the most bizarre thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, because
she doesn't know if she should run away, but she's also fascinated by there's a boy. They're not allowed near me. What the hell is this? I've not seen you before.
But her look of disgust and offence when she realises that he's eaten a pear.
And then that's when she gets the vase of flowers, and I could smell that green water from that vase.
It looked gross. It really did.
But that meeting, there's something about that meeting and the way she reacts to him and the way she moves around the room. And fair play to, I've forgotten her name, unfortunately.
Neve McIntosh.
Neve McIntosh. The way she flings herself around the place.
Yeah.
Because she goes for full dramatics in it.
Well, like
in a heavy gown, which is quite difficult.
I think she had one of the most difficult roles to portray. And she does it amazingly.
Yeah, her actual physical acting in this should be applauded because she really does fling herself around the place while she's having her little tantrums.
Oh, and one of the things that I do love about it, actually, I love everybody intentionally or otherwise mispronouncing Steerpike's name. His Spearkite, Steershite, Queerpike.
Yeah, it's
and some of the insults that Berkentine comes out with for him and other people are just beautiful.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun with the dialogue there, for sure,
Yeah, absolutely is. But I think unless we want to go into spoiler territory, we should probably wrap it up there. Unless anybody else has anything they'd like.
No, all good.
But yeah, no, that is Gormenghast. It was 2000, wasn't it?
Yeah.
2000, yeah.
Yeah, so 2000. It is available on DVD if you can find it. Ty, you said you managed to get it where?
So Microsoft Store if you're on PC, or if you're on Xbox, it's the Films and TV app. It's on there. It's like a tenner. So for all 4 episodes.
I didn't.
Oh, it is well worth it actually.
Oh, it's well worth it. I was going to say I didn't have a look. I must have a look and see if you can get it on some.
We picked it up from a DVD store, and we paid in and around that for it.
Yeah.
So that is. Yeah.
I must have a look before the episode goes live, and if I can find it being sold online anywhere, I'll link it in the socials when I'm promoting it because
it is
worth to watch. It's such a fantastic series. You don't have to devote an awful lot to it either because it's only 4 hours. There's a nice little half an hour making of documentary as well. But I would highly, highly recommend this, and I think it's one that would have passed under a lot of people's radars. Passed under mine for so long,
Again, it was kind of before the internet took off, so...
It was outside of my wheelhouse of interest as well, so without you two, I wouldn't have watched it.
I think my parents watched it because we had Tadhg in the house. Because I was like, Mervyn Peake, I know that name. So I think my mum had read Gormenghast and would have watched this or been like, oh, I'm aware of that and never read it. So watched it because it was BBC and they do that really well.
And it was before a lot of those, historical fictions came out, like the Tudors and the Borgias, and there was a whole bunch of them a few years later in the mid 2000s, and this would have slotted nicely amongst them, even though it's not strictly historical fiction. But it was that few years earlier that I think was probably too early.
Yeah, well, this came out around the same time as that Invasion Earth that for a long, long time I really thought I'd made up about the alien invasion in the UK and Scotland. It was a 6-part.
Yeah. No, that exists.
That does exist because I always remember the aliens and that being crazy looking and them flying through it and they're supposed to be folding space time. Whatever, it's really good if you find that as well. Go look it up. You'll probably come across her in the same time. But the BBC were doing some kind of bizarre little standalone miniseries.
They do them well.
Yeah.
They do them well, and this, I think, is one of the best. It's so good. It is really fantastic. Like I said, I'll if I can find somewhere it can be bought, I'll put it up. But otherwise, as Tadhg said, it's available there on the Microsoft Store and Apple Store.
I don't know about the Apple Store, but
the Apple Store, Google.
Yeah, maybe.
Google, sorry. Yeah. Xbox.
But on Xbox as well. So.
But go look for it, find it, and fucking buy it because it is excellent. As for us, we will be back next week. Normal programming will resume. But thanks for joining us today, Tadhg.
No worries at all.
Is there anything you'd like to promote? Last chance or social?
No. I'm happy out. Just not having
just along for the ride.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we'll bring you back at some point in the future anyway, but thanks for joining us today, buddy.
Awesome.
As for us, we will be back next week. And in the meantime, if you want, you can head over and check out some of our previous episodes or our other podcast, Mono Rants the Boys. Or you can come and find us on the socials on Twitter at RantsMono, on Instagram at monorants_the_boys, where I actually posted something last week, believe it or not.
I know, I saw it.
See how long that lasts for. And you can send your own rants to monorantspodcast@gmail.com. And we'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.
We are Science Fiction Remnant.
This is the Funny Science Fiction Podcast.
We are Cinema Recall.
We are the Caribbean Science Fiction Network.
We are Monorats.
We are One Accord Level 2 Podcast.
This is Jesse from Sudden But Inevitable and Open Pike Night.
This is Sci-Fi.